Hey, what's going on, guys? It is Foxy98 here. Welcome back to a brand new episode of my F1 2019 career mode for you guys today here on the channel. Today we're here for the Belgian Grand Prix, and it's been a while since we've done a career mode video, and also obviously uploading videos as well. A couple of quick things to talk about before I talk mainly about obviously the career mode episode itself. First of all, I don't think I actually mentioned it. Basically, as you would have known, I haven't uploaded in a couple of days. Basically, I had some family that have come down from London. They live in London. They've obviously come down to where I live. So I just spent the weekend obviously with them, and I decided I didn't really want to try and prepare videos for whilst I wasn't going to be around. So I just decided to leave it. The second thing is, I can't remember what the second thing was now. It's just completely gone away from my own mind. Yeah, it was going to be that it's not going to be anytime soon. Around about the US Grand Prix, I'm going to make a change to the career mode series. It's nothing major, just trying to test a couple of things out and basically see if it does anything. Meanwhile, though, Renault have had a massive upgrade package. They're now the fastest car on the grid. So this is going to change the dynamic of the career mode slightly. But also the third and final thing is that we managed to hit 18,000 subscribers here on the YouTube channel for the second or third time or something like that. And I really, really appreciate it. I did hit the milestone back on Christmas Day last year. But as I've obviously stated, you know, the start of 2019 was really not the best time for me. I was definitely in the wrong frame of things, and I ruined my own channel, basically. But obviously, I never give up, and I don't think any of you should ever give up on anything in life. And we've not gone past 18,000 subscribers yet again, and obviously I'm looking to push the boundaries, move forwards, and try and be as good as I can, and hopefully we could try and get closer to hitting 20,000 subscribers. That's the ultimate goal. I don't know if I'm going to aim for that by the end of this year. We'll see what happens. I'm never say never. So we'll put the aim, 20,000 subscribers by the end of the year. If it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Into qualifying then, Q2. We managed to get ourselves through into Q3. It's actually started to transition from dry conditions to wet conditions. And that wasn't really what I wanted, because in terms of the setup, I was quick in sectors 1 and 3, but I was extremely slow in the middle sector. But moving on to my first Q3 lap, was not a very good lap, because it was the first time I was really having a crack at no assists with wet weather conditions. You can see just struggling on the traction there. It was a whopping 2.7 seconds off the pace. Second qualifying lap though, now the delta for some reason was glitched here, because I was around about like 8 tenths up or something like that on my personal best, and all of a sudden it was just like, it just started freaking out, and it's like, look, you'll see it now, look, I'm about to go slower than my best lap time, but I still went fast. I don't know. Anyway, so the two runs that I did were with no assists whatsoever. In this final run here, the rain obviously has got heavier, but I decided to do it with low braking assist and just see if I was any faster. Turns out I was actually a second slower than my personal best lap in the intermediate conditions, and it's going to be P8 on the grid. And yeah, that kind of just confirms to me that I am really starting to get hooked up with no assists on F1 2019, which I was kind of pleased about. But it's actually quite a parcel grid. We've got Mercedes front row lockout, the Renaults coming in next, then the Ferraris, and then the McLarens. Annoyingly though, Norris did out-qualify me, which was a bit of a pain. But nonetheless though, decent starting position in P8. We've got to hope to see if anyone gets some penalties. I'm not really sure. If not, we've got a good car. It's set to be a dry race. We're going to be quick in a straight line, and that's all that really is going to count for us. Without further ado, guys, let's get into the race and see what can happen here at the Belgian Grand Prix.
In the 48 races held at Spa between 1950 and 2015, the race winner has only started from pole position on 16 occasions. Qualifying yesterday may have set the order for today, but expect the unexpected here at the Belgian Grand Prix. As the saying goes, of course, anything can happen. And you know what? It usually does. Spa-Francorchamps then, a historic 19-corner circuit with a lap distance of 4.35 miles. There's over 100 metres of elevation change here, and with long stretches of the lap spent flat out, a good top speed will be vital for success. Anthony Davidson is alongside me in the commentary box to take you through all the action today. Now, it's a closely matched field here in Spa, Ant, so where do you think we're going to see somebody make a difference?
If they're as close as we're expecting them to be, especially through the midfield, then being able to keep the front tyres in good condition could make the difference. you always lose a chunk of downforce at the front when you're in the turbulent air of another car, which tends to cause understeer, which in turn causes front tyre degradation. Now, too much damage there could force an early pit stop and put you at a slight disadvantage, so the drivers will want to be careful not to be too aggressive early on in the Grand Prix.
With the race minutes away from starting, here's what today's grid rundown looks like. An immense lap from Lewis Hamilton yesterday puts him on pole position, and Valtteri Bottas will line up alongside. As we continue through the rest of the grid today, we have Perez, Sainz, Charles Leclerc and Vettel, Norris, Thomas, Grosjean and Lucas Faber, Magnussen, Butler, Lance Stroll and Verstappen, Gasly, Hülkenberg, George Russell and Alexander Albon, Raikkonen, and Antonio Giovinazzi starts from the back of the grid. And with lights out just moments away, it's time to go down to the track.
Alright, so we're here on the grid then to start this Belgian Grand Prix. It's going to be a one-stop race, actually. I thought it might have been potentially a two-stop because I didn't think the soft tyres could go so long. But we are going to do the one-stop nonetheless, though. It is still going to be Pierre on the grid. But here we are then to get ready. It's 5 red lights then for this Belgian Grand Prix. And it's lights out. We go here for the start of the Belgian Grand Prix. Instantly covering off the Haas there of Romain Grosjean, who does initially get in front. But we take an inside line in towards last source. And we get past Grosjean side by side with my teammate Lando Norris. But we do eventually just about get in front of him now as we make the blast down towards Eau Rouge, and then rally on. You can see the 2 Ferraris going side by side as we climb up the hill now, and we stay in front of Lando Norris, 7th place at the moment. I'm going to try my hardest to actually remember what position I'm actually in at the time there, as the 2 Mercedes cars go fighting up ahead now, the 2 Ferraris fighting as well. I think the Renaults might be fighting as well, but we're all having a bit of a scrap here as the 2 Ferraris, the Vettel and Charles Leclerc, go side by side through Le Combe. And now as we go down the hill here, you can see we get a fabulous run as we now try and challenge Sebastian Vettel here, having a look inside and out, try and swoop around the outside of Vettel. We've actually got a fabulous run here on the Ferrari cars. We now go on through. It's the 2 Mercedes that lead the way. We go down the inside though of Sebastian Vettel into the corner with no name, and we're up into 6th place as we go towards Pour, and that is a great start for us early on in this Grand Prix as we now try and keep up with the likes of Charles Leclerc in front, and he's got the 2 Renault cars to deal with. I think it's actually Sainz, then it's Perez, and then it's Hamilton and Bottas, I want to say. I can't remember who's the number 1 driver at the moment at Mercedes. Probably James. Now as we go in towards Stavolo corner, and it's been a great start for us. A little bit wide, though, on the exit there. The first Stavolo, that might just put us off a little bit. And you can see here that Vettel is very close to the rear of my car. I'm not quite as close as Charles Leclerc. Vettel now going to come back at me here in towards Blanchimont corner, and I'm not actually going to defend this one too hard here as he goes on through. We stay around the outside, though. We might have just gone off the track a little bit there, but it doesn't really matter too much. But we now break nice and early, actually, for the bus stop chicane. And we do manage to get ourselves and stay in front, as it is Valtteri Bottas then that leads the way. But it's 2 places gained off the start. 1 on Lando Norris, and then 1 on Sebastian Vettel. So that is how we do things at the moment. But now as we continue on our way, you can see here that Charles Leclerc is in 5th place. And now it's time to see if we can really keep up with these top 3 teams. Of course, Renault, Mercedes and Ferrari are the teams that we're now looking to try and beat in this career mode. But Vettel here has got a great run up a Rouge and Ragnon, and now onto the Kevel Straight here. This is where Sebastian's going to unleash that Ferrari, and at this stage I decided no, I'm not actually going to fight Seb, so I let him through, kind of, as you can see there. Goes around the outside in towards what's it called, Le Combe, and he's up into 6th place. We drop down to 7th, but you can see here onto lap 5 of the Grand Prix, it was actually quite easy to stay with Seb. I didn't really have any problems not following him. And this was the stage of the Grand Prix where I decided now is time to do some tactical judgments here. The Renaults and the Mercedes cars and Charles Leclerc are really doing a great job of slipstreaming and DRSing each other. Meanwhile, for myself here and Vettel, I was just following Seb, but we weren't really getting that extra power off the straights. If I was able to use slipstream and DRS and blast past Vettel as we continue to fight here, going in towards the middle sector, shouldn't really be talking about my tactics when me and Seb are really going for it here as we now go around the outside and in towards the corner with no name yet again, where we overtook Vettel the first time around. We get past him there, but basically, obviously, we're not getting that little bit of a leapfrog using DRS. It's not working. So rather than me just staying behind Seb, of course, I know that Vettel's quicker in the Ferrari, but the problem is he now comes back at us here with more pace now in the Ferrari in towards the bus stop chicane. This time around, though, you can see here, again, we brake a little bit earlier, but then we just carry the speed into towards the second phase of the chicane. But yeah, like I was saying, Vettel is, even though he's got the straight line speed, as you can see here, Charles Leclerc trying to attack here on Sergio Perez now, I think it is, with also Hamilton involved in this attack as well. Bottas starting to establish a little bit of a lead here, and this is actually when I defended from Seb. But obviously, look at that, they're getting the DRS and they're getting the slipstream, and they're constantly passing each other, and they're just that much quicker in a straight line because they're getting the job done on the straight. They're not fighting in the corners. So for Seb's case, well, he's going to have a power deficit anyway because he's got the straight line speed, but he's not got the slipstream and he's not got the DRS. So what I tried to do was mimic a slipstream DRS fight with me and Seb to catch up to this group. That was the plan. But meanwhile, though, Perez in that Renault car, it is now the fastest car on the grid, and it breezes past Lewis Hamilton. I know he had slipstream and DRS, as Charles Leclerc now tries to get his way past Sergio Perez as well. Try and make it 2 for the price of 1, but it's not going to work. Hamilton, though, does drop 2 places, but a lap later, though, Charles Leclerc comes back at Sergio Perez. Now, Bottas still just establishing his race lead out front, as meanwhile, Charles Leclerc passes Sergio Perez. Now, Hamilton tries to have a look that he's just a bit too far back to make any form of impact on the Renault car there as we go in front. Lap 8 of the Grand Prix, though, and one man that got a little bit detached from the train is Carlos Sainz, and he's fallen into the train between myself and Vettel. And meanwhile, you can see here, look at the pace that we've got going up the hill, and you can see now onto the Camel Straight here. Open up the DRS now, and this is where we can get an overtake done on Carlos Sainz. In fact, we absolutely fly past him, and there was no real need for me to use any other high fuel mixtures because we just got the job done so easily. But in this stage of the race, you can see we're 2.5 seconds back now. Both Leclerc and also Hamilton are fighting hard. That's allowing Perez to just pull away. But you can see here, as we go on to lap 8 of the Grand Prix, about to start the 9th lap of this race, we're going to pit this lap and respond to these cars. I was actually set to pit a little bit earlier than the rest of the grids. However, I decided to respond because they stayed out. My tyres felt good. Annoyingly, though, as I was meant to pit a lap earlier, I am going to compromise Lando Norris. I do apologise. Sorry, Lando. Yeah, it wasn't quite part of the plan, and I'm going to get held a little bit. Oh, that's not going to help Lando Norris at all. Yeah, I kind of screwed his race over a little bit there. Like I said, the tyres felt really good, and you saw on that lap, actually, that I was coming in. I set 2 personal bests in the first and second sector, so it was all the well to stay out. But now I've got Gasly here, unfortunately, that has come out in front of me in that Red Bull car. And as we now go up towards Eau Rouge here, actually going to try it on Gasly here. Lose the back end ever so slightly, but we actually got it done there on Pierre. Completely mugging him off in my McLaren. And that's kind of payback, really, because, well, Gasly's rubbish. Now, as we go on to lap 17 in the Grand Prix, though, we've got a wild Valtteri Bottas in front of us here, who seems to be struggling with car performance. Remember, Bottas was leading this Grand Prix quite easily here, and it's clear that he's got some form of an issue, because we just fly past Valtteri when there wasn't even a contest at this stage. But now we've got Charles Leclerc out in front with a bit of a gap now, and then it's Perez, and then it's Lewis Hamilton that are establishing the race lead. You can see Bottas there falling back, though. We've got a yellow flag up front, and it says only one car involved in that melee. It's Charles Leclerc who's going to be out of the Belgian Grand Prix, and that is going to promote us into the podium places. And there he is then, engine smoking. Ferrari have been awful with reliability this year, and it just shows again. But what was crucial in all of that is that Charles Leclerc DNF'd in the middle of Pool, and it cost Perez and Hamilton time. That's brought me into DRS range with just a couple of laps to go now. I am now in contention with the fight at the top. We've got the DRS by the skin of our teeth. We're actually 1.2 seconds back. We're in the detection zone. We were right there, but now Harris and Hamilton are going side by side here, and this is just literally helping me to an absolute treat because I can just get onto the back of these two now and stay right with them. As you can see, the likes of Perez and Hamilton continue their scraps side by side. Really close action here between the two of them. And we're now, as you can see here, just saving my ERS as we now go in towards Pouen. And you can see here, it's a little bit cautious actually for Pouen. Throughout the entirety of the weekend, I've actually been faster than the AIs going through there. But now, you can see here that look at this. They've been side by side for virtually the whole lap now. As Perez finally gets around the outside of Lewis Hamilton. I go a little bit wide there on the exit. As we now go towards Stavilo corner, we are now in the the fight for the race win. Lap 19 to start lap 20 of the Grand Prix. Hamilton opens up the DRS here. He's got a little bit more straight line speed as we go in towards the first corner, in towards La Source, and I've decided let's play it patient here. Let's wait until we get up the top here. Bit of a scruffy exit there, but we're going to activate all of our tools now, get all the beans going. We've had great straight line speed. Now it's time to use it as we go up the hill now for the 20th time here. That's a great run versus Lewis Hamilton. Open up the DRS now. Overtake mixture engage as we now attack Lewis Hamilton. Pull out of the slipstream of Lewis. Go into the slipstream of Sergio Perez. Perez goes defensive to the inside. We're going to loop around the outside. Go very late on the brakes. Now we try to go attack Sergio Perez here. And as you can see, round the outside in towards Lecom. It's going to pay off. We get through. And somehow we have just taken the lead. Lock up though on the front right tyre there. That's going to allow Sergio Perez to come back. But we just about hold it around the outside. And we have somehow just taken the lead of the Belgian Grand Prix. And now we've got to go on defensive. Perez though, he's got a great straight line speed. Actually probably a lot more than I do. And now to lap 20, the end of lap 20, sorry, Perez only half second back. Hamilton 2/10 back. Vettel and Bottas are still in contention here. As now you can see here comes Sergio Perez though in that Renault car, getting much closer now to the back of my McLaren. And they're definitely going to have a go in towards the bus stop chicane. They won't have a go in towards Blanchimont. But here comes Perez now in towards the bus stop chicane again. Break that a little bit earlier. A bit of a lock-up actually on the front right tyres. We now go in towards the second part of the chicane. Close off the door to Sergio. And that just allows me a little bit of time now as Hamilton retakes the position from Sergio Perez. And now he's on the attacker versus myself here. Perez has lost a little bit of time on lap 21. Hamilton now uses DRS, tucked into the slipstream, goes back out of the slipstream, comes back in again. A little bit of contact there to myself and Hamilton. Braking way too late for the corner there. Really deep on the brakes, but we just about hold on there. The car slides a little bit. Perez now snatches second place off Lewis Hamilton, but we are trying everything, and I mean everything, to defend the race leads here. Somehow we're involved in this race lead scrap, but we've just got the pace at the moment. And now in towards overtake mode here. Perez isn't actually close enough on this lap to get the job done, so we've held off. Now we're saving up our fuel on our ERS because we know that the fight into Stavolo and the fight into the bus stop chicane is where they're going to come at me next, and I know that they're going to do it. It is a 5-way scrap here for the race win. And now as we go in towards the final part of the lap here, I don't know if I ride on board with the whole lap or if I just ride on board with a bit of it and then cut to it. I don't really know, to be honest, how I edited this video, because I'm not going to lie to you, I think I edited it about 2 weeks ago, I'm not going to lie. But yeah, now as we go through in towards Port, again, just going flat out now. You can see the other cars rivaling me. Look at the pace that Perez has got. Probably got that engine all the way up to the max, but obviously I am saving everything I've got so I can unleash all of it in towards this final complex of corners now. As you can see, in towards the first part of the Stavolo section. And now in towards the second part. Now it's time to unleash everything. Rich mixture and hot lap has been enabled. It's a good exit though from us out of the exit of the Stavolo corners in towards the bus stop chicane. Now can we try and defend against Sergio Perez? On this occasion, I think we're alright actually. Now as we go through the bus stop chicane here, Perez though has got the slipstream. He has got a run here. He's going to go for the outside line and towards the chicane. We go for the inside line. Perez brakes later than us though. We give him the room for the outside of the track. But after all of that scrapping, we have come out and we have stolen the race win.
You worked hard for that one. Congratulations.
McLaren have pulled it off. They've won in spectacular fashion here today. Anthony Davidson, what helped them deliver this result, do you think?
I think we'll chalk this one up to a deft touch on the brake pedal. That's allowed them to challenge down the inside into the braking zones, and ultimately, if you do that often enough, you end up winning the race. It was great to watch as well though, wasn't it? Forget strategy, forget tyre management. Who doesn't love a good old-fashioned scrap?
Our winning drivers are on their way to the podium right now. It's been a fantastic race for McLaren, that's for sure, and no doubt they'll be celebrating tonight.
Well, there you have it, guys. There is the race results. And look at that, the top 5 separated by just 1.6 seconds. at the checkered flag, and finally we can breathe. But yeah, it is a race win that we definitely stole. In the Drivers' Championship, though, the gap between myself and Bottas is 41 points at the top of the table. You can see there that we've actually overtaken Hamilton in the Drivers' Championship. Constructors' Championship-wise, Mercedes are 140 points clear of Ferrari, and I think 180 points clear of ourselves.
Amazing performance out there. I'm sure you're pretty happy with that. How are you feeling after that win?
Delighted.
It wasn't the cleanest race today, was it?
Couple of bits of contact in them, I'm not going to answer.
Well, thanks anyway.
And there you have it then, guys. That is it for the Belgian Grand Prix here today. What an epic Grand Prix. Like I said, only 1.6 seconds separated the 5 drivers at the checkered flag, and hopefully we can see some more of that. We've got 2,400 R&D points though, so we definitely can do something with that. But if you guys have enjoyed today's video, obviously feel free to drop it a like and subscribe to the channel if you've not yet subscribed already. I really do appreciate obviously all the support, like I said at the start of the video. It really does mean a lot. But we are going to go ahead and probably do a chassis upgrade or maybe a department efficiency upgrade. So I'd actually do a department efficiency upgrade to make things a little bit cheaper. Then I'll go ahead and purchase that major upgrade. But anyway, guys, thank you very much for watching the video, and I will see you guys next time. Take care all. Peace.